You wake up and hit snooze again. The goals you set last week, last month, maybe even last year, they're still waiting. A voice inside you whispers that today should be different, but your body drags, your mind hesitates, and somehow the momentum never comes. You scroll through your phone looking for a spark, some burst of inspiration, but it all feels like noise. You know you're capable of more, yet something holds you back. The fire you once had flickers. You think, maybe I'm just not motivated enough. But here's the truth. Motivation isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. Most people believe motivation shows up like a lightning bolt, sudden, powerful, unstoppable. But in reality, motivation is more like a muscle. It needs to be triggered, stretched, and trained. You've felt it before, the rush of adrenaline after hearing a powerful message, the energy that floods your body after a big decision, or the quiet clarity after a long moment of reflection. It's in those moments you realize the potential was always there. What if motivation isn't about being hyped, but about being honest with yourself? What if the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't as wide as you think? What if the secret is simpler than you imagined? Deep down, you've felt the pull, the sense that you were meant for something greater. That's not a fantasy. That's a signal. And the sooner you listen to it, the sooner you move. You don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You need a shift, a spark, a system. And once you unlock it, everything changes. Your energy, your direction, your results. This isn't just about motivation. It's about transformation, starting now. What drives a person to get up before the sun rises, to push forward when no one is watching, to keep going long after the initial excitement fades? It's not luck. It's not even talent. It's something deeper, an internal force that fuels action, determination, and consistency. And yet, for many of us, that force seems to vanish just when we need it most. We set goals, make plans, get inspired for a moment, but then life happens. Obstacles appear, doubt creeps in, and that once burning desire begins to flicker out. The question isn't whether we want to succeed. Most of us do. The question is, how do we stay motivated long enough to make it happen? Motivation is often misunderstood. It's seen as this magical burst of energy that some people are lucky to have while others just don't. But motivation isn't magic. It's a process, a skill, and more importantly, it's something you can learn to master. It's not about waiting for the perfect mood or the ideal circumstances. It's about learning how to create a mental and emotional environment that naturally fuels action. Think back to a time when you were fully locked in, focused, energized, unstoppable. You weren't questioning yourself or looking for permission. You were just moving. In that moment, something had aligned. Maybe it was a clear purpose, a powerful reason, or a sense of urgency. Whatever it was, it lit you up from the inside. That state is not random. It can be repeated. And once you understand how to enter that state consistently, you stop relying on outside motivation. You become your own source of power. The truth is, the people who seem endlessly motivated aren't superhuman. They've simply built habits and systems that support their drive. They've conditioned their minds and bodies to respond to challenges with purpose rather than panic. And more importantly, they've learned how to take control of their internal dialogue, shifting from self-doubt to self-command. They don't let circumstances define them. They define the circumstance. This isn't about hype or blind optimism. It's about real, sustainable inner momentum. It's about knowing how to flip the mental switches that turn hesitation into movement and resistance into progress. If you've ever struggled to stay motivated, it's not because you're lazy or broken. You just haven't been shown how to access that part of yourself that's built for persistence, growth, and achievement. That changes now. Most people don't lack dreams. They lack the drive to keep chasing them when the initial thrill wears off. It's not hard to feel motivated when everything is going right, when the path is clear and progress is visible. But what about when it's not? What happens when the results don't show up, when routines get disrupted, or when self-doubt creeps in? That's where most goals die, not from a lack of ambition, but from a lack of sustained energy. The real problem isn't starting, it's continuing. Motivation for many feels unpredictable. Some days you're inspired and moving full force. Other days getting out of bed feels like a battle. You make plans, write lists, even set alarms, yet still fall back into procrastination, distraction, or avoidance. And then comes the guilt. The inner critic says, you're not doing enough. And suddenly the weight of expectations feels heavier than the work itself. It becomes a cycle. You're motivated, you stall, you feel bad, and the drive fades. Before long, your goals start to gather dust. Part of the problem lies in how people approach motivation in the first place. They wait for it. Like a wave, they hope will carry them forward. But waves don't last forever. And neither does that temporary high from an inspiring video or a powerful quote. When motivation fades, and it always does, what's left? If you haven't built a system to sustain your effort, you're stuck. You rely on willpower, which is limited. You chase inspiration, which is fleeting, and over time your confidence erodes, not because you failed, but because you didn't have the tools to stay consistent. There's also the myth that successful people are just naturally more driven, that they wake up each day excited and full of energy. The truth is far less glamorous. High achievers often feel the same resistance, fear, and fatigue. The difference is they know how to work with it, not against it. They've developed ways to take action, even when they don't feel like it. That's the secret most people never learn. Motivation isn't something you feel first. It's often something that follows action. The real challenge then is learning how to create motivation on demand, not by waiting for it, but by generating it. That means rewiring how you think, how you move, and how you connect to your goals emotionally. Because without that ability, even the most inspiring vision will stay just that, a vision. If motivation isn't something you can rely on to simply appear, the next logical step is learning how to create it. That starts with understanding one fundamental truth. Your emotions are shaped by your actions just as much as your actions are shaped by your emotions. People often believe they need to feel motivated before they can act. But in reality, action is often what triggers the motivation. Taking that first small step, even when you don't feel like it, can shift your energy, focus, and mindset. One of the most powerful ways to begin creating this shift is through movement. When you change your physical state, how you sit, stand, breathe, and carry yourself, you send signals to your brain. Slumped shoulders, shallow breaths, and stillness often reinforce feelings of fatigue and disconnection, but standing tall, breathing deeply, and engaging your body in movement can spark new energy. It's a simple concept, but it has a profound impact. Your body influences your mind more than most people realize. Another critical piece is clarity. Lack of motivation is often a symptom of unclear goals. When your targets are vague, like get in shape or be successful, they don't provide a compelling reason to act. But when you define exactly what you want, why you want it, and what steps will get you there, your brain becomes more focused. You create a path, and with a path comes direction, and with direction comes momentum. Knowing your why is equally important. When a goal is deeply connected to your identity or your values, it becomes more than a task, it becomes a mission. Environment also matters. People tend to underestimate the effect of their surroundings. The people you spend time with, the information you consume, and even the physical space you operate in all contribute to your mental state. A cluttered, chaotic environment can drain your energy, while a clean, purposeful space can fuel focus. The same goes for people. Those who uplift, challenge, and inspire you can help you stay aligned with your goals. Finally, consistency beats intensity. Grand gestures of motivation, like a sudden decision to overhaul your life, may feel exciting at first, but they rarely last. It's the small, repeated actions that build real, lasting progress. Motivation becomes more reliable when it's grounded in daily habits, routines, and rituals. When you train yourself to show up, even on the hard days, you stop depending on fleeting feelings and start building long-term drive. Picture a moment when everything was against you. The plan didn't work, the timing was off, and nothing seemed to go right. You were exhausted, not just physically, but mentally. Every logical part of you wanted to quit. The progress was too slow, the reward too far away, and the obstacles too overwhelming. And yet, for some reason, you didn't stop. You pushed forward. You made the call, finished the workout, showed up to the meeting, or sat down to write. That wasn't motivation. It was something deeper. That moment right there was the turning point. It's easy to keep going when you're winning, when the compliments roll in, when the results start showing, when it feels good. But the real breakthrough happens in silence, when no one is watching, when the applause is gone, and the only thing keeping you in motion is a quiet decision not to give up. That's the point most people never reach. They give in just before the shift. But for those who persist through the resistance, everything begins to change. Something powerful happens when you act despite the discomfort. You begin to trust yourself, not because things are perfect, but because you've proven that you don't need ideal conditions to keep moving. You realize that motivation is not a requirement, it's a bonus. What matters more is commitment. Once you truly understand this, you stop waiting for the right time. You stop looking for signs. You simply decide, and that decision repeated daily builds something stronger than hype. It builds character. That's the moment where transformation begins, not the flashy, dramatic change people post about, but the subtle internal shift that says, I'm done waiting. And from that moment on, the game changes. You show up differently, you think differently, you carry a quiet confidence that doesn't depend on external praise. And ironically, that's when results begin to accelerate, not because life got easier, but because you became stronger. Every major success story has that unseen moment, the one where the person could have quit, but didn't. It's never glamorous. Sometimes it's painful. But it's honest, it's raw, and it's real. That's the core of sustained motivation, not the temporary spark, but the ability to move through resistance and keep showing up when it matters most. That's when everything starts to shift. Motivation isn't some elusive force that only a lucky few possess. It's a skill, a muscle you can develop and strengthen over time. The real secret lies not in waiting for motivation to strike like lightning, but in learning how to generate it yourself consistently and reliably. Motivation comes from the inside, from your actions, your mindset, and your connection to purpose, not from external circumstances or fleeting feelings. We've seen how powerful small changes can be, shifting your physical state, clarifying your goals, surrounding yourself with the right environment, and building daily habits. These aren't just tips. They're foundational steps that create a lasting internal drive. When you commit to these practices, motivation no longer feels random or out of reach. Instead, it becomes a natural byproduct of how you live each day. At the heart of motivation is a decision to keep moving forward despite obstacles, doubt, or fear. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it and trusting that the momentum will follow. This decision, repeated over time, builds resilience and self-trust. It transforms you from someone who waits for inspiration into someone who creates it. It's also important to remember that motivation isn't about perfection. There will be days when energy is low and progress feels slow. That's normal. What matters is not giving up when those days come. Every step forward, no matter how small, adds up. The journey to lasting motivation is a marathon, not a sprint. Ultimately, motivation is about reclaiming control over your own life. It's about understanding that your mindset, your choices, and your actions shape your reality. When you take responsibility for your motivation, you unlock the power to overcome challenges, pursue your goals, and live with purpose. So if you've ever struggled to stay motivated, know that you're not broken or lacking something special. You just need the right tools and mindset to access the motivation that's already inside you. The journey starts with a single step, a choice to act, to believe, and to keep going. From there, everything changes. Motivation isn't waiting for you. It's waiting inside you. All you have to do is reach in and take it. Now that you understand motivation isn't some mysterious force that comes and goes at random, it's time to take control and make it work for you. The knowledge alone won't change your life. It's the action you take that makes all the difference. So ask yourself, what is one small step you can take right now that will move you closer to your goals? Maybe it's standing up, stretching, and taking 3 deep breaths to shift your energy. Maybe it's writing down your top 3 priorities for the day and committing to focusing on them no matter what. Or perhaps it's setting a timer for just 5 minutes to start on a task you've been avoiding. The key is to start where you are with what you have and build momentum from there. If you've ever found yourself stuck in the cycle of waiting for motivation, this is your chance to break free. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect mood. It rarely comes. Instead, create your own momentum through small, intentional actions. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes. The more you prove to yourself that you can follow through, the more confident and motivated you will feel. Surround yourself with reminders of your purpose. Write down why your goals matter to you and keep that list visible. When doubts creep in, revisit those reasons. Connect to your why emotionally, not just intellectually. When motivation dips, let your purpose pull you forward. Seek out environments and relationships that support your growth, whether it's a mentor, a friend, a community, or even inspiring books and podcasts. Choose influences that challenge and encourage you. Remember, motivation thrives in the right atmosphere. Create daily routines that reinforce your commitment. Motivation may spark action, but habits keep you moving on days when motivation fades. Whether it's a morning ritual, a workout, or a planning session, find what grounds you and make it non-negotiable. Above all, be kind to yourself. Motivation isn't about perfection or constant high energy. It's about persistence. It's about showing up even when it's hard. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Each step forward is a victory. So right now, take a moment. Decide on one action you will commit to today that moves you closer to your goals. Write it down. Say it out loud. Then do it. Because motivation doesn't just happen. It's created, nurtured, and sustained by the choices you make every day. Your journey to lasting motivation starts now. Take the first step.